How?
That one was pretty well.
Yeah, it looks human.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like a living thing.
Great. Is there anybody in the waiting room or,
Not yet.
okay? And Michael DeCare was just sending me something about this building. Oh,
When you say this building,
so, I'll wait till Susie's back. There was a consultant an energy consultant who went through this town hall and a bunch of the other town buildings. As part of our application for climate leader status. So they're preparing a report. It's really timely that it's part of the state's decarbonization roadmap.
this is with the intent that by 2050, eliminate.
Yes, and what communities can do is they can apply to be climate leaders. And so Shutesbury is going to apply to be a climate leader. And when you apply to be a climate leader, you get access to money beyond the money
Right.
that you get access to as a green community, which we are. State money, yes, from DOER, Department Division of Energy Resources. So they had a, so they had a, gosh, I hate emails that like, there's the string goes on and then I can't find it. So they had somebody come, and the one thing that Michael had told me on the phone is,
Did we call the meeting to order yet?
no, I'm gonna wait for Susan.
Okay.
Okay. And
I know this is
I'll
one of
start
your
over.
agenda segments.
Yes, yeah. Oh, yeah, so I should, okay. I'm gonna go ahead and call the meeting to order of the MN Spear Reuse Committee. Today is Thursday, November 13th, and we have 4 of our 6 members here today. This is a hybrid meeting, and it is being recorded. Yep, okay. So I'll first go through the agenda, and then we can launch into meeting. So we have meeting minutes from October 30th. The next item on the agenda is to review the building plans for the town hall. Then I am going to give an update on the decarbonization roadmap climate leader program. Talk about scheduling of a public presentation, and I guess I'd like to add to that is update for the select board too. And then schedule our next meeting date. Anything else that anybody has?
Did we get anywhere with,
I think I got copies of the agenda. I have them in my
Oh, okay.
office.
the mass save?
That's
gonna
part
be
of what I'm gonna be,
decarbonization?
yeah, that's
Okay.
what I'm gonna talk about.
And we do have the toilet information, or we do, don't?
We have toilet information.
General
General toilet.
recap of what
Okay.
Mary Jo
Yeah.
found out.
Okay, so, the first thing is, to approve the minutes from October 30th, 2025. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, are there any, edits to the minutes? I did go through them. I didn't see anything. Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't
Okay.
there, but I read it from the.
Okay,
No comment.
okay. Do you feel comfortable voting for
I
them?
do.
Okay, all right. All right, all those in favor of approving the minutes of October 30th? Please say aye.
Alice, aye.
So motion on.
Get it.
Okay, great, thank you. All right, so the next item is to review the the building plans. So what we had talked about at the last meeting is, taking a look at this at the town hall before we jump to, doing something significant with, the immense sphere building. Because I think a sense of the group, and correct me. There's probably excess space and underutilized space in this current building. And that it makes sense, given that we have bathrooms and heating systems, we have all of the infrastructure here, septic, already here. And we know that there are issues with how the offices are configured and so forth. So, Stephen offered to get these, and I guess Grace maybe help you dig out.
Pull them out.
Brennan.
Leslie and I
Leslie,
did a little
Yeah.
vault
Yeah,
search.
okay.
Yeah, so this is, a set that was done 2002.
Okay,
So it doesn't show how the, police department has found a space.
okay,
You know, it's right here. We have their little drawing, but you know, these are 1/4 inch scale. We can easily scale off. We could even, if we wanted, I just brought this, this is commonly called tracing paper.
yeah,
You can lay this down over the top, you can do a simple, you know, hand sketch, and then, start doing measurements from these, with measurements down if you want. And then, you know, we're here. Huh? Well, we're upstairs, so we're in here. Well,
we're
thank you.
here.
Yeah, we're here.
Wait a second, where are we? I'm
Oh,
not even trying to go.
I'm
orient, but
sorry.
so, no, we're down here,
Here.
we're over, here's the town clerk,
We're here.
and we're in here, so this
Yeah,
is just
So that's police,
offices.
that's us.
Oh, okay,
So
And-
that's-
and this is town administrator,
Right,
storage.
2002,
Right, so the conference room is where?
here.
Right, so that's like the
Split.
police, right,
Right.
so it's split
Well,
off.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and,
Yeah.
you know, they did their little sketch, and we could easily put a wall in.
Right.
You know, that's their, I think,
Surprised that
evidence
came
clause.
So late.
and there's an office here, Gail's
Well, that's the
office is-
addition.
Okay, so, and that was done when the elevator was
Yeah.
done?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Oh,
and I think
okay.
we found, there might be, some other drawings that have that as well.
Which room?
The elevator.
This doesn't have the
elevator.
addition.
Yeah,
Oh, are they underneath? I think I included both on the email.
you think there was another set?
It wouldn't, it was just,
Oh, here. This is
There's
the-
the elevator. Mhm.
So that must be one, there you go,
Oh, okay.
there, so you can. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
the wholesale was
But it-
done in 2002, so it's
It's
original,
really
it's
when
the
they-
Oh, that was
building
the
as,
original.
as it
Okay.
was, and then this was with the,
Okay,
addition.
and this is the, okay. And this was originally just one big, envisioned as one big
Right.
room, okay.
Yeah, it's like 40s to me.
It used to meet in here,
Mhm.
okay, and then,
I don't know where the police were.
that far. Okay. And right now we have the assessors, the town accountant and the town treasurer
Mhm.
in here.
Mhm. In the downstairs room, there were some questions about the wall, the soft wall that's there and what the structure was. for the
That's
downstairs.
just a partition.
It is
Okay,
just.
and so there was a little bit about like what could go in there in terms of construction.
I think the way you could think of it is that you could take this wall could be removed and put any place you want.
And so building another wall in that room would be able to use those posts and however it worked.
Well, the post,
What does the post do?
well, there's a beam that runs this
Okay.
way, and a
Mhm.
beam that runs this way.
Okay.
So the posts are carrying, well, actually, they might also
Yeah,
end up
'cause
being
that's-
load, carrying some load from the upstairs.
Mhm.
But this wall is not structural.
This one right here.
Right, so you could redefine this space.
Mhm.
The only thing you can't do is take out the columns.
And there's a well.
Yeah, there's a room back there,
Yeah.
off of the
Yeah.
dark storage room. And it has the, pump, or the, pressure tank, which was leaking, which was causing some of the water, so they fixed it. If you figured that out and fixed it.
It was not uncommon years ago that the well would be right next to the building. And if you go outside,
Yeah, you can see.
there's a slab and there's some kind of access so that if you ever had to drill,
Mhm.
pull, if you have a pump that's deep down, you could access it.
Yeah.
And there's an old keg in there from police evidence.
Yeah.
Pretty funky stuff in there, huh?
Well,
Open that.
And,
age one, age
Steve, you
fear.
had talked about the kitchen
Well, I was just saying,
potentially.
yeah, I mean,
um,
the kitchen, the sink is right here.
Mhm.
Dishwasher is currently over here.
mhm.
Could put the dishwasher over here. Maybe this fountain is not being
Right.
used. That
Could be a
could be
door.
moved. You could put a door here,
Mhm.
put a wall here,
Mhm.
and then this becomes a large closet.
Mhm. Mhm.
We were to start, well, one of the things that came up as a result of the, and this is gonna kind of move into this discussion on the next item on the agenda. So, Shrewsbury is applying to be a climate leader community, and it's a designation that I think there are 19 communities in Massachusetts that are climate leaders, and it's a state designation, and what it does is it gives you access to additional state funds and kind of over and above what you can get as a green community. So we're green communities, and we have access to funding through the Green Communities Grant Program too. We got monies to do the lighting to do energy efficient lighting at the elementary school. And I think that was finished last year sometime. But as a climate leader, what they have done is they actually had a consultant, like an energy consultant, come through all the town buildings. And so that the report's going to be ready next week. But Michael DeCare, I told him right before the meeting, because he had told me November 18th, which is Monday, Tuesday. And he said that they had something preliminary or a final draft, and he sent it to me, but literally I was on the phone with him as I pulled up here. But they were making recommendations about this building, and when Brennan and I called him about the climate leader kind of after the last meeting, he said when the consultant came into this building, I came in downstairs, he looked at that, the air
Robot
circulator.
looking.
It went like, oh my God. This is like way like out of control and not what you need. And, that his recommendations would be to do something really different. So, yeah, I don't know what's in that report, but, you know, we're gonna have access, not only are we gonna have access to a report that gives us some really good information, I believe. We're also, they put in the climate leader application is due at the end of December.
Mhm.
And then, I looked at last year's, awards and, you know, they were up to $1 million. And then the Green Communities grants are out there too. I think we would, you know, we would need to have a pretty good idea about what it is we wanna do
Mhm.
down there and look at what some of these recommendations are.
Mhm.
But I think the first step for us is kind of saying, what do we realistically think how the downstairs could be reconfigured? Because I think that's kind of where we start with the police. Let's say the police department is at the top of the list
Mhm.
for needing better space,
Mhm.
different space from what they're in right now. What we heard through the surveys was, it's, an issue of privacy,
Mhm.
and, um,
We talked about what.
Booking room.
Yeah,
booking room, like a separate, like
Right.
legally having a separate space where they can book somebody, not a holding cell, but
Right.
like a booking area. And their so-called evidence room is a narrow closet that runs about, I don't know, 6 or 8 feet and it's, I don't know, 4 feet wide. It's just, it's packed. It's totally inadequate. So, you know, they very much, you know, had wanted,
Looks like it's 4 feet by, like, a little under 12. 11 and a half, maybe. But yeah, 4 feet, which is,
I got,
Pretty
you
good.
know, he let me peek in there.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure it's not any place you're not supposed to be able to step in there. And it's just like stuff
yeah.
with stuff. Their files and whatever else. I don't even know what else is in there. Stuff that's been taken from people, so they have to hold on to it, I'm sure, for a period of time. So they definitely need safe, secure storage.
Right.
Privacy is an issue. Now, one possibility is if we could reconfigure that downstairs, is taking what's now the senior lounge, which has a separate entrance. I don't think that entrance is handicapped accessible though.
Probably is.
I think it is. I think that the door is wide enough.
Yeah, the
It's
door
not
is
very
quite wide.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a pretty wide door.
Oh,
I
okay.
mean, I'd have to check it,
And
but I,
Okay.
and the approach to
And
it
it's
is.
a
Yeah.
ramp, kind of, okay. I
Ramp-ish.
wasn't sure if
just
it-
a slab.
Fish.
Yeah.
Ramp.
I mean, if you're wheeling across the quote parking area, because that's not paved right out there.
Right,
There is a little bit of a sidewalk.
Yeah.
yeah,
Before we go, let me suggest that we have another way of looking at
Yeah.
it. So I was looking at what the big room does currently.
yeah,
And then it's like, okay, then where would this thing go, where that
Right.
thing go? And, so in the big room currently, there's a select board meetings, voting.
Yeah.
Bigger meetings, files, metal closets, access to the lounge and access to the back room. That's how it's used. When you do the voting, what could that look like? And there's
Right.
two parts to the voting. There's the casting your ballots, but there's also the counting of them. And when we have a large election, we often have 8 to 10 counting teams, which is 2 people. And so that space, when we have a large election, we use that space and the senior lounge. So I'm just trying to think of what
Sure.
that looks like
Yep.
when you move that. I think people would find it fun to cast their ballots over at the old library. And the traffic is pretty
Oh,
fluid
interesting.
there,
Mhm.
but the counting is another
problem.
Mhm.
And, I'm trying to imagine that.
Could you have voting at the new library?
You could, so, it's working it out with, the domain of the library that it needs to be there. And then
I'm
that,
just wondering if it's ever, I'm thinking about, is it done in any other?
other towns use schools, they use whatever municipal buildings they can, and so that would be.
Can I just interject? So I did a little bit, very little bit of looking at, the question of what will be the requirements when you change use. So I'm just reading a few things here. It says, requirements for a building use change generally include applying for planning permission and or a building permit through your local planning or building department. And you have to submit all these different plans, but a change in use permit is required to ensure the building meets the new uses specific codes. So I think that it's gonna be a given that a bathroom, minimally a bathroom, and maybe more than one bathroom would be a requirement. And
Across the street.
across the street. And, I think conceptually, the idea of the composting toilet is good, but I'm not sure that the code is gonna allow that. And just to present what Mary Jo was explaining to me, well, first she said, the serious community uses composting toilets, and they would be someone good to see if they could talk to us about it. But Mary Jo, was saying that it's apparently a little thing. It's not a regular toilet, but and when you use it, apparently there's a way to separate urine from solid matter. And the importance of that is that when you use it for solid matter, you throw in some apparently sawdust and it dries it out and it becomes odorless. And the urine, you empty, and you can, if you dilute it 10 to 1, 10 parts water, 1 part urine, then you can just throw it out anywhere. But, who's going to want to be responsible for that? And then the section that has the fecal matter, apparently when you get enough in there, it's just like it's a large dog poop bag. You tie it up and throw it in the trash.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, I think, her suggestion, because, her thought, which I would tend to agree with, is it's not going to get a lot of use. And she said one of the problems with a regular, composting toilet is if it's mostly urine going in there, it doesn't function properly.
Right.
And her thought was that that's probably going to be the primary use. So I think,
So when you're talking reuse, was there any separate stream from reuse of a municipal building to a municipal use versus using a private building to municipal use, or vice versa?
Good question.
Yeah,
Don't have the answer.
yeah.
But I suspect,
Yeah, it's a change in
Yeah.
use from a library to a meeting space, a
Well,
change in use.
yeah, here you go. Potential building code compliance issues. Physical upgrades. A change in use may require upgrades to meet current building codes, even if no major construction is planned. Specific requirements. These can include changes to means of egress, for example, fire exits, fire resistance, sanitary facilities, structural performance, ventilation, energy efficiency. I mean, if they
Yeah,
said you
that's-
got to bring this up to current energy codes, that means you either take the siding off outside or inside or possibly both to get the sidewall insulation up to code. You know, we have accessibility for people with disabilities. The structural performance, I suspect, would not be a real concern because as a library, it probably has or had beefier structure. Plus, if you remember when we looked at the building, there have been improvements in the more recent past to the structure. So I don't think structural performance would be an issue. And you've got, you know, it's a small building. I think as long as it's one space, you have two exits. And that would probably meet current code. If you start dividing it up into
Right.
subspaces, that could become an issue.
When you say subspaces, like.
Well, like if you
two
divide it
separate
up
building
into
plots.
4 office
Yeah.
spaces.
Yeah.
So you go into your office, one
'Cause the chief-
egress.
Chief had an office and the door closes.
Yeah, so that's your one egress, and then you have to have the window, I don't know if in a commercial use,
Right.
if a window qualifies, like in your house, your
Mhm.
bedroom
As a means
window,
of egress.
has to be a certain size.
Right,
So minimally, you'd have to have a window that would meet the requirements, some number of square feet when it's open, and it would have to be functional, so the windows would probably have to be changed.
so,
But there's a way of, I don't think any of our talk last week saw it as the library space being carved up. So I guess I need to keep the noun in mind. Were you mostly looking at when the, MN Spear gets redone? Or were you looking at downstairs being redone too?
Talking about.
Only that one, okay, so.
Yeah, I guess my point is, I think they're
Yeah.
gonna be, there's gonna be a good bit of expense to reuse it
At all.
at all.
and
Right,
I think on a parallel basis, what would be good is if we could gather some of that information, because I think if we can't dismiss use of that building
Yeah.
outright. And I think if we were able to get like information from the building inspector about this very subject, about is this a change in use? If we were going from a library to now using it, it's still a municipal building, but it might be used for as meeting space, or it might be used as offices,
Right.
you know. Is that a change in use that would then trigger all of these code issues?
right,
And that was always kind of in the back of my mind,
Right.
what I was most concerned about,
Right.
because, if it did,
Yeah.
it's really,
The fact that it is a historical building plays no role in this at all. I mean, grandfathered in as a historical building, it's been that way.
well, usually the way the code is, as long as you're not making changes,
Yeah.
you don't have to bring your building up to current code, but once you start, it's like if you were doing a substantial renovation in a house, I think 50% renovation, then you gotta bring it all up to code. If you're just doing a little project, you know, putting an addition on, the addition has to be code compliant, but not the rest of the, say, house. So, yeah, I mean, I think,
yeah, that's good, that's good.
but I
Good
think,
point,
I think it's probably safe to conclude that we'd have
We
to
need
put
a
a bathroom.
bathroom, and would we need 2 bathrooms,
Right,
right? Regardless of the use, probably need a bathroom. Okay. So maybe, would you feel comfortable talking to the building inspector?
Sure.
Have you met him?
no,
Yeah, that's good. That would be great, and just, you can tell them kind of what we're
yeah,
pondering. This, I see kind of part of what we're doing here, I'm envisioning having like a chart of, you know, the advantages of like doing this
right,
and the, you know, the pros and cons, I guess, of going one route or another. And I think that's why we were kind of gravitating towards at least looking at this building first, because there are a lot of unknowns and
Right.
potential even greater costs. I mean, there are certainly costs that would be associated with anything that we do here. And as Susie pointed out, there's not only cost, there's also just administrative, you know, things we have to think about with, say, for instance, the elections. I mean, I think the select board meeting piece, we could have a meeting room and, it would be nicer even to be in a smaller space than that big room we're in right now. So Susie, what else was it? We do voting, vote counting, select board meetings, and just the file cabinets?
Yeah, and access to the
Access to the-
lounge and access to the
access.
back room, which has the pump and
Access to that room.
electricity and,
Right. Back room. You could have a hallway, right?
yeah, I could, so I'm feeling torn between thinking it out and letting it go until we get to a different understanding of what we need, but,
Mhm.
so when Mary Ann said in the library, they could use some off-season storage, I could see along that, wall that's in the middle, making that an alley that's both storage, some file cabinets, the cupboards, the access to the back room.
Mhm.
And as you step into that room, making an entry so that you can go into the police
Mhm.
room or into the
Mm.
community,
Mhm.
thing, but, and that, everything was going along quite jolly until I thought, oh, so where do we count the votes? Because that's a big
Right.
enterprise, and when do we spread out into that space and when do we not? And there's, still more thinking about how to solve them, but I don't wanna solve problems that I don't know what
Right.
the path is at all,
Right.
so.
Right.
But those are things that impact, seeing how the big room is used,
And, can you tell us what the current square footage is of the police, room?
What happened to
there?
that,
Oh, he sent me a little drawing.
yeah, there's a
Yeah,
little
did you, I
drawing.
sent it to you guys, right?
Sort of,
Did I send
I
it to
didn't
you?
get it.
Maybe I just,
I
did I
think-
send it to you, Brennan,
Yeah, I think I sent an email to the group.
to the group? Cause he.
I
did it.
remember seeing it.
Oh,
Jeez.
you have too much stuff going on.
Let
So I,
me see, I can probably pull it up.
Devin had done a little floor plan, of what their current space is in there. So that we could get a sense of,
Police department down there.
Oh, here it is.
Question, I was wondering,
This is better.
can the building have a life as it is without any changes at all?
yes.
Does it have to be abandoned?
No, well, no, I
mean,
think it could have a life as it is, but that's what I would wanna know from.
Like, can you walk in and have a meeting in that
Yes.
room and not call it a reuse?
Yes.
A
Yes.
change of
Yes.
Well,
use?
this is.
That's the
Yes.
question.
Yes.
to understand.
And that's
Because
what I-
people have been meeting there.
Right,
Yeah.
right, so that's what I wanna know from the building inspector.
So, the office area is 16 by 18.4, and then there's the 4 by 12 of the closet, the secure storage.
18 by 18.
Yeah, that's what he's,
The total, and that 16 by 18.4 is divided into the chief's
Mhm.
room and
Yeah,
the
yeah,
rest of it,
yeah.
okay.
so on the outside wall, it's 16 feet,
Okay,
Mhm,
and then,
so that's 48.
so this depth,
mhm.
So right now, it's roughly,
there you go, there's, Rita, there's,
okay, great, so it's about 340 square feet, something in that neighborhood, 350 square feet. what is the lounge?
Yeah, 'cause in discussions
This
I've had,
is,
Is that the senior lounge?
they believe that
That's the
space would be
senior
too
yeah, well,
small.
that was,
Oh,
is that what you want,
Yes,
the lounge?
yeah, the senior lounge, yeah.
So this is, say 18.9 by 29. You want the reading room?
I was just, first wanted to just see if it was, if it was just the senior lounge. And we weren't having to move any walls and we could retain the big room and just, reconfigure it. Would that be one way of doing it? So that's 522 square feet, the 18.9, it's even a little bit more than that. I didn't
Mhm.
use the fractions,
Mhm.
but, and they're at 336 now.
one thing that
Did
came,
you have the, 4
Yeah.
by 12 for the
Yeah,
closet?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
one thing that came to me is why or how the senior lounge is designated as the senior lounge. And there's always this fiefdom thing that happens. But, and I could see that, Muriel Gross was the, lunch lady when the building was not the town hall. And so I could see it sort of, it might have evolved, and I do know that, at this, I would say at this time, the COA sees it as a permanent setup so they can walk in and do.
Yeah.
If they are bumped,
Yep.
which is a discussion,
Mhm.
would we
create a
be
new
looking
one.
for a fixed created
Yes.
new one?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like that dominoes. What is the domino? And that would be some kind of entity for the senior lounge
In the
or
big-
senior community.
Yeah, so in the big space, so I would say, could we bump it into the big space and even combine it with the kitchen? Because they use the kitchen, right? So if you had, the kitchen was kind of part of that. And I don't think I don't think I don't know how you deal with windows. In the select board meeting space, like windows are not critical.
Mhm.
I'd say more the senior lounge is used during the day. It's more important to have, windows
Mhm.
there. Honestly, I don't know how the police would feel about windows because those
Mm.
windows
They-
are all at,
They can pull those shades though.
Yeah.
There's shades on all.
They're not a fan of it.
And, no, but the other piece is the nurse. And she
Right.
has a set space, so,
right.
so
But
that's
she's
the
in
same
the-
thing
in the
as
senior
elections.
lounge.
If you start moving this, then you have to move that, and then what does
Yes.
that look like?
Right.
So I think as long as we keep the pieces on the table in the order that they belong, then, yeah, you can move things around.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing is that did the police say something about the windows?
I've had a discussion with, some of them, and, that was one of their main concerns is there's too many windows.
Too many windows, yeah.
Well, I think, you could do something as simple as, let's say you wanted to eliminate these two windows. You cut, plywood and you screw it in place. You paint it first,
Yeah.
and the window's gone.
Right, Right.
That could be an easy
Yeah.
thing to deal with. I
Yeah.
mean, I would think that they'd want some
light, natural
light,
Right.
but you could easily reduce, and if you just wanted to reduce one, then you just,
Actually, if you move the police into the current community lounge, you probably have to have another door. Because the door, that other exit goes into the main room and down the hall. I mean, would you want two exits in the room? In
Oh,
which
wait a
case
minute.
you could take out a window and put a door in.
Yeah, but you have Paul there, though.
so
Well, let's say,
you have, this is an exit and this is an exit.
right,
Okay, I
So, but if you had a hallway here,
Mhm,
Susie,
mhm,
what I
yeah.
was thinking, then it becomes a hallway where you could enter the police department
Mhm.
that way through that hallway, or you could enter it from outside.
Right.
But the hallway, would have to continue so that you had your, access to the utility.
Yeah,
Right,
right.
I'm going the wrong way.
Pretty much follow that pole.
Mhm.
So this would be the hallway.
Right.
This would be the remaining space, and this could take out some of the footprint, so there'd be more space, or even wonder if the hallway would come in here. or the- Okay.
So the police, just for discussion, the police is now gone from this. So now this wall could actually be removed. And with this space, but you don't want to just, because you want to also have a larger clerk's,
We need
Town
better
clerk
space for
space.
town clerk,
uh,
right,
so maybe some of that becomes town clerk.
Yeah.
Um,
So in the current police room, you could put the town clerk, maybe the land use clerk, you could
Mhm.
have some record storage.
Mhm.
And then, in the current TC room, that could be where the land use clerk ends up, or the treasurer, or they could share it.
And we could have better meeting space up here, I mean, that's the other thing that
Yeah,
I.
some of this was out of here
Mhm, mhm.
into other space.
and what about, in my mind, an easy way to use the Spear Library without needing a bathroom is it becomes storage.
I would hate to see it become storage, it's like we have the Old Town Hall, it's storage now, and like people don't have access, and people love that building.
Well,
I think it would
yeah.
be kind of sad if it just became, another.
Storage. Well, so my thinking was, if that became storage, then you could take a lot of, not the vault, obviously,
Mhm.
but the vault's not in the space. You could take a lot of that stuff, which a lot of it can be consolidated, just
Mhm.
spread out. And then there were bathrooms there. So there is
Are you pointing to the old town
The Old
hall?
Town Hall.
Yeah.
Okay.
Old Town. So it would be a lot easier to put bathrooms back in there, and because you don't have to have a kitchen, or if you have one, it could be minuscule. I think there's enough space to have 2 handicap use bathrooms in there. And it used to have water coming from the well on Town Common, so you reestablish that. I don't know if it was a full septic or a tight tank, but you could reestablish that.
I think that's very small.
Yeah, it's a very small area, so
Footprint,
I'm guessing
yeah.
tight tank. And you'd have to figure out a way to get handicap access.
Mhm.
But I think that space, given the size, would be a lot more useful as a community space.
Hmm.
The library has the problem of the chimney in the middle of it.
Right.
It's, so it's kind of an awkward space.
It has heating.
It has
Right.
heating.
And the other problem with the old town hall is the parking,
Right.
and when we considered it as a possible library site,
Mhm.
it would necessitate crossing the road.
Yeah.
And, meetings at night, that's not such a great idea, but that's just one of the pieces that
Right.
came up over there.
Right. Not like crossing Cooley Road.
Yeah, this is not a fun place to cross, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there obviously are issues. I mean, the parking certainly is one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole wart that's on the back of Old Town Hall where the bathrooms and the kitchen were, it's disgusting. It should be ripped off. It's not just like fixing what's there, I'm pretty sure. And I think it also sags I think the whole thing isn't what you might have looked at it.
No, I would disagree. I don't think that that ward is the problem. What I think, based on looking at the building a couple of times and rummaging around in the crawl space quite a bit, is that the original back wall, which is gone now, because when they did the vault, and then when they did, I don't know if they were done at the same time, I suspect not. But the vault, which has a poured concrete foundation and is brick on the exterior, there's not a single crack. I mean, there's no signs of any settlement in that. The settlement, you go into the building and you go about 2/3 of the way back, and then there's a sharp drop.
Right.
And my suspicion is that the back wall, the original back foundation wall, there was something unstable, and that settled, and the back of the building settled. But in the area where, I mean, it's nasty in there, the ceiling, you know, there was a roof leak at some point in the past, the ceiling's all fallen. I mean, you would need to gut that on the interior.
But you
Too
think structurally it's still
bad.
standing up.
Yeah, because you go, you know, that's the quote basement area under that. And again, I didn't get any sense that that section, that bathroom, kitchen section, had actually settled. You know, the side entry, you know, that used to, I guess, have stairs, and there's some rot there, there's
Yeah.
some other areas of rot outside,
Yeah.
but, yeah.
If we start moving stuff around in here, so I assume you have to apply for permits.
Yeah, not if you're certain. Rip it off. Start there. Permits.
Well, I just, I just wanna know sort of whether or not that triggers anything else that we have to do.
One thing I'll just throw out,
Yeah.
you know, another, you know, given this is just a partition wall,
Yeah,
I mean, if you put the police over here,
on the big side, yeah.
yeah, then, you know, I hate, you know, it would be, in my opinion, much nicer. Let's say there's a wall here, then this is now a big space, and you don't have to have this separate hallway. You know, in my mind, the hallway is a loss of space,
Yeah,
you know. So, and if you put them here on
Yeah.
the side,
And have a door here to get in there.
yeah, there'd be
Yeah.
a door somewhere
Yeah,
here, right
okay.
here.
And then.
Yeah.
And then,
open
and then
space.
if we make this, that, you know,
That's
is
your
a
booking room, okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
booking room or, yeah, or at, and possibly
It's still the window problem, but it's a
no
little
different
different,
than over
right,
here.
yep.
Um,
But then the select board, could we sort of partition the select board and senior lounge so that they felt like they.
Well, you know, they make these, it's like an accordion
Oh, yeah,
room.
yeah, yeah,
And because it sounds like the real issue comes to voting and tabulation, right?
right.
And
I believe we need one
Flexible
flexible,
space.
open space or usable space.
Mhm.
You could divide it and then some counters can be over there and some counters can be over here. That's okay too,
Yeah.
but you can't go into the police department for that. So whatever space you
Right.
leave has to have the flexibility.
Yeah. So let's say we've got,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the police department wall.
And what size would that be? Just, yeah, okay, start cutting it over there.
We wanted to give them like
More
500 square feet.
Well, this is, that's 21 from the wall to here,
Mhm.
and then it's gonna be the same that we got before. 29.
29.4.
Yeah,
Well, that's even more than.
that's more. You know, and I'm not saying we couldn't, you know, if we decided on the quotes,
Right.
we could, the wall could be here.
Mhm.
Mhm. And
then
then
they
the
have their
access is all
entrance.
clear and you pull out the.
Yeah, they have
building
their
wall.
entrance, they have this
They
space,
have that other
Access to
entrance.
here
right,
and the access
so,
to the electronic.
so then
room
this
up here.
becomes, this space becomes. $29.5 feet. 29?
Mhm, still a
Yeah,
big
that's
space.
a big space.
Yeah,
And, you know, if. You could, you could figure out a way to put in one of those collapsible room dividers.
yeah.
If you divided that space up, it need a door over there where that set of last set of windows is, wouldn't it need another?
You mean it's,
If that part, the back becomes a separate room, it would need some kind of exit.
I don't know what, with the, collapsible wall,
Mhm.
if it could kind of open from two directions, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
That would have to be.
Taking out a set of windows for a door wouldn't be that bad.
No.
And there's too many windows. in
So that's a good,
Yeah.
solution.
Keep the windows. The windows are so full.
But there's lots.
I mean, the
of-
senior, they continue to get the senior lounge. There
Yeah.
has been an issue. And I think it just needs to be discussed about wanting that space exclusively for the seniors.
Yeah.
And I think, the few times that we would need that space, we just have to talk about it.
They set up 3 round tables. Those are excessively round tables, I will say, because I'm a short person, I'm moving those round tables.
Oh, they're
It's a
high.
Pain in the neck. So there's 3 set up for now and one just stored over there because they are too big for that room.
Right.
But when we have senior luncheon once a month, we are now sitting at 3 tables. They are so big, they don't fit into the room enough to easily sit all the way around all 3 of them, so we might have been able to get away with something else, but, and I actually wondered if there was a historic path that got that room designated. Did
I
they
don't-
do
I don't-
money? Did they do anything? Whatever it is, it would be prudent to know.
Do you mean, did they pay for the improvements to
Or
that
or
room?
did
Was that-
somehow did the framework of why that is? Yeah, I know that there was improvements, I don't know who paid for them.
Right.
But I don't know if there was some kind of way that they historically saw that, and then we'd have to just address that. It's not impossible, but I think it's important not to tread on people without
Oh,
having
yeah.
some information.
Oh, yeah, no, it would be good to have the history. You wanna find the history?
I can
Probably
try.
across the road. Leslie probably knows that.
Yeah.
I'll have to ask her.
Yeah, because I know it's been a sensitive subject about not like us, the select board, not giving people permission to use that room.
Right.
And so, yeah. I'm not sure how that evolved.
Yeah, but it's clearly been an understanding that's not understood. That's the best kind.
Yes,
Right,
thank you. 'Cause understanding that's not understood, yeah, it's understood by some people, but not others.
I think, yeah, I mean, I think it's, given the limited use and the fact
Right,
that
right.
we
the
really,
senior lounge
I
isn't
think we
used that
really
much.
need
Right,
to make things as flexible.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
people, there has to be
Mhm.
give and take,
mhm,
so that,
Yeah.
if they want that to be their lounge,
mhm,
then,
But even just like when this public health nurse took up a corner and then stuff got moved here and then they go over there,
mhm,
there wasn't enough talk ahead of time.
Yeah.
mhm.
And as far as I know, that public health nurse is now part of the town's departments, part of their action, so we just need to keep understanding when things get added, how to
Right.
work it out.
Right,
And I'm not, there may not be a problem, but it helps to know ahead of time or talk ahead of time.
Make that case.
yeah, Yeah, and also, you know, even as we're talking here about moving people
Right.
around and
Yeah.
making all these changes, I think, yeah, that's why I think it would be good. I mean, obviously, this meeting's
Right.
public and anybody can
Right.
listen to it, but yeah, at some point, just
Right.
coming back to the select board and saying, like, here's an update, here's where we are, these are the kinds of discussions we've been having. And I think the more information we can get about, you know, the
Library.
Change of use.
library
Yeah.
and changing use, the better off we're gonna be, but if we, and I have just, it's 2:00, I have to leave at 2:30, so I wanna make sure we get as much, done as possible here. Do you think it would make sense to, take the next step in having somebody like do a, you know, work up a plan here, and just show the walls and show the reconfiguration? Is that something you can do, or, could we see if we could find a volunteer who could draw it on a CAD?
That would be the better thing,
Mhm.
right, and I'm not CAD
Yeah.
literate.
Yeah.
I know that,
You're shaking your
I
head.
don't know.
No, Michael has CAD. I mean, my husband does.
Oh,
So he does drawings for Habitat.
yeah,
Pat Wilson does
And
drawings.
Pat
yeah,
does too.
that's what
Okay.
I was thinking.
Yeah,
She might be willing to do it.
okay.
I mean, Russ has been very generous in helping do some of the projects we
Yeah,
accomplished.
Yeah.
around,
he's
so-
great. Yeah, I don't have them.
I mean, you know, the fact that it's all here and
Right,
it's just a matter of,
moving walls
Use it.
around. Yeah.
well, initially just getting this on there and then, you know,
Mhm.
you overlay with this and, you know, you do some sketches and you could come up with different ideas and, they could, you know, we could have several different ideas,
I think
which could then be, you know, all put in the CAD program.
so, so one thing, and that would come out of this report, that, you know, hopefully, you know, we get some more, if there are recommendations around the heating system. I mean, that to me would be the other thing, like, right, I don't even know what that heating system is down there now. It's an air exchange thing, I know that,
Well,
but
that's not a heating
that's not a
system.
heating
That,
system,
that's
that's
just,
just
Air
that
exchange, and it helped
it's
change
a,
the mold level that was in that foldable wall by a lot. The mold, I mean, the mold was a
yeah,
significant
so,
problem.
but that's I think that's a HRV, a heat recovery ventilator. So it's
Okay.
constantly
Running.
running and it's taking air from the building, throwing it outside through a heat exchanger, bringing air from outside in. So you're constantly changing the air.
Yeah.
There's also a humidifier,
Or
unit.
dehumidifier.
dehumidifier,
Yeah.
thank you, that's back in the utility room that
Yeah.
also runs, and I think that interfaces. So I suspect that the two of them in tandem are
Change the
helping,
mold.
improve,
Significant change the mold.
So of course, you know, that's something, you know, that
That
sort of
section.
is
Yeah.
here.
Mhm.
So, you know, the best thing there is to have something in front of it.
Mhm.
You know, and as I was
Unless
thinking,
there's a more updated, unless, you know, we,
well,
Not that
the
old.
question, I guess, I'm wondering that the gentleman might be raising
Yeah.
is maybe it's larger than it has to be.
Yeah.
I mean, we have one in our house, you know, any new house, because it's so tight, has to have one.
right,
And the unit itself is about like this and about that deep.
mhm.
So do you know if that air circulator is also recirculating the air up here? Does it take,
Have to trace the
see if there's
ducting.
some cold air returns or air returns,
Yeah.
yeah. So that may be part of it, that it might be a whole building thing, and this is a pretty large building.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't know if we have time. I did a little work on this, termination of eligibility for the dealing with the front porch.
Oh, okay, great.
So I filled this out, and I don't, would it be easy for you to make a couple copies of this so people could? I mean, I filled this out, and I went through, first off, Shutesbury, what's it called? Well, the library is considered a historical
Right.
feature of Shutesbury.
Right.
It's listed. And the goals, acquire, preserve, rehabilitate, restore publicly owned historic properties. We're good there. And then criteria for historic resource projects, protect, reserve, enhance. We meet that. Proposed work meets the U.S. Department of Interior standards for rehabilitation. It ensures the historic resource can be maintained for continued public benefit. There's potential loss or destruction, well, if that continues. So it fits a lot of these categories.
Yeah.
Then there's general criteria, we fit a lot there. Now, I went through briefly the Secretary of Interior standards for rehabilitation. And one of the things so they have what they recommend and what they don't recommend. So this is replace, and this is an example. Replacing in kind an entire entry porch or porch that is too deteriorated to repair if the form and detailing are still evident, using the physical evidence as a model to reproduce the feature. If using the same kind of material, and I think this is not technically, and in my mind, that's like maintenance and how long it's going to last. If it's not technically or economically feasible, then a compatible substitute material may be considered. And I think that's what we'll be talking about. This substructure, all pressure treated wood, you're never going to see that.
Right.
So that's also, I think, falls in there. The flooring really is about the only thing
Right.
that we're really changing out. So when I wrote this, briefly describe your project's expected results. Most importantly, the installation of proper footings will stabilize the front entry porch and prevent any additional settlement of the porch or the roof above. In addition, historic details of the entry porch will be repaired. For example, the dentil molding on the gable of the porch and the rails on each side of the porch, while being raised to meet current code requirements for safety, will be detailed in a manner consistent with the existing details. Also, the reconstruction of the floor and stair structure will utilize materials that will have a long life and require minimal maintenance. So that's where we're making a change.
Right.
And
So Steve, I wonder if we could,
this is due, excuse me, I think December 9th.
yeah, so.
That's just to be determined eligible. And then
the application is due in February.
so there'd be time to get accurate estimates.
Can I just check if ADA is not an issue for a second exit from a building? Just push them off the edge.
Well, I mean, just thinking of some larger public or commercial spaces that have ramps, you don't see a second ramp. I don't see a second ramp.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say it's not a requirement,
Right.
but I don't think so.
I guess it's another thing, if you're checking with the building inspector and just saying,
Right,
or replacing the porch, because that's another thing that's gonna need a permit.
right. Yeah, well, that would dramatically
That wouldn't be
alter.
historical.
Oh, yeah, no.
They used to just
Yeah.
push them off the edge
Right,
in the old days.
so I put, they asked for,
This is going to
Anticipated.
CPA.
yeah, this is what will go to the
Yeah,
CPA.
yeah.
We could
Anticipated
do that.
total cost,
Yeah,
I put 35 to 70,000. And then I said, contractor estimates will be secured to provide a tighter window of anticipated costs. That's assuming that they
mhm.
tell us we can go forward.
Yeah.
And I put down, I'll be the contact person,
Okay,
but I'm listing, the MN Spear Library Reuse Committee as the applicant organization.
so what I would say is let's put that on the agenda for the next meeting.
This,
So the determination of eligibility, yeah. And then if you wanna,
December something.
yeah. So I think December 4th.
And that's the eighth, let's do the eighth.
9th.
You need copies made or?
Do you want,
Thursday.
you want copies of this for
the next
everybody?
tomorrow.
What I filled
You know
out?
what, you can just, why don't you send it to Brennan and then, you can email it to all of us.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do that.
If you don't, I can scan it
Wait
to
a minute,
myself.
wait a minute.
Or you can copy it now. You wanna copy it now? That's easier. Okay, everybody will have it.
Steps in.
Get your steps in.
Oh, wait a minute, I
'Cause-
got it right here.
Well,
Yeah,
we
well,
can copy it, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
He's on his way. So then at that meeting, we could go through the, determination of eligibility application and kind of get that underway, since that has to be done regardless for that building. And that application could come from us. That'd be great. Thank you for
Yeah.
getting that
Mhm.
underway.
And, you'll
Um,
get feedback from CPA anyway.
pardon?
The CPA will give you feedback.
Yes.
Also.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, now you're the
I
CPA
am.
and I am too, so we're gonna have to recuse ourselves.
Oh.
We're the, yeah, we're the
Applying.
applicants.
We'll let him do that.
Do you think that, did you say it was Pat?
Pat Wilson.
Wilson, who might do a drawing for us?
She might.
Okay,
Thank you. And there's, there might be some other people who are, like,
I mean, I could call Ross,
okay.
ask him.
the woman that, came in
Kathleen?
on, yeah, Kathleen,
Oh, gosh,
Yeah.
yeah, she's on the ZBA.
she might have, or she also might know somebody.
Or, who's the person on the buildings committee who might have somebody in, who's Anna,
Oh, yeah,
somebody
Cody.
in Anna's
Oh, Anna's
Well,
office?
office, yeah,
You have to talk to her.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, why don't you start with, you wanna start with Pat,
Yeah.
and then if that doesn't pan out, then why don't you let us know, and then we can,
You can also put out a town announce,
yeah.
and look, we can, get people. Okay.
I'm not gonna be able to make the 4th.
Okay. Do you wanna?
I mean,
you
unless
out-
it
you got
was,
that whole,
say, later in the day.
okay, let's just look at the 4th.
I'm open to any time in the day.
What's later in the day for you?
Well, let's see. I think 3 or 4 would be safe.
Okay, Brennan leaves at 4. But, so do you think 3 would be okay?
I think 3 my wife has a consult
Okay,
for some major dental work. I could go with her, and it's at 11. I would like to think it's not more than an hour
yeah,
for the consult.
but it's a ways away.
It's in Hadley, so,
No, so
it's,
okay, so we shoot for 3,
yeah.
3 o'clock on the 4th?
I mean, the other option is, say, 2:30, let's see, 12, 3 o'clock's better.
Yeah, let's do 3, and then Brennan, if he has to take
We
off,
can finish the minutes.
yeah,
I'm pretty sure I'm free, but I didn't bring my calendar.
Okay.
It's not on my,
okay.
but
All right.
I'm pretty sure.
And if you could let everybody know, Brennan, that would be great.
Appreciate it.
And if you can find out, if Pat can't do it, let, let me know, and then, we'll figure out from there. Cause I could ask Kathleen too. I know Kathleen, so, or Anna.
I think there are other architects in town too. Oh, you know who is, Lindsay Schnarr. Down on Pratt Corner Road, she's a new person, young.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm
Do you
thinking
know
of
her?
a town announce. No, I just know of her, she's.
I know,
next
just so
neighbor.
often with town announced, we just get nothing, you know, people, we don't,
Well-
somebody else is gonna do it.
Right.
Somebody else will, I think direct outreach, if we can start that
Yeah.
way.
So
Um,
what we want is, we have these existing plans, and we would just like plan of each 4 levels.
Especially if
Yeah.
we give them a sense of what the use is.
Yeah,
We know that there has to be access, there has to be,
Well, I was thinking that she would just provide the initial plan. We would talk about how we develop it up. And then that would then become a new CAD drawing. That was
I
my-
see, so we would start with.
We would
um,
start with this and
and are
We
we,
wanna do
are we
that
starting,
now?
are we starting with this part of the kitchen gone? Is that it, and are we agreed to start with that too?
I think so, yeah.
well, the other possibility is we could see if she inputted this, she's got it on a laptop. If she could come to the meeting,
Oh, right,
and then we would
Right.
say, okay,
what?
we
what
want
if
with the
you-
wall here, and
Yeah,
this here.
yeah,
um,
okay. Why don't you see?
I'll talk to Russ.
Okay.
And I'll find out, and
Okay.
I'll try to do that, in a couple
Okay.
days.
All right,
Sometimes he and Patty are off somewhere,
It might be gone.
but,
yeah, okay.
if I can't, if in 2 days, say, I can't get in,
You're
I'll
up
let you
against the wall,
know.
right, yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I know, my husband's CAD program is on his desktop, and it's like, it's ancient,
Yeah.
you can't even move it to anything else,
Right,
it's so
yeah.
old. So, yeah, having somebody who has something that's more current that, sit here and,
I mean, I don't know what she has, but I
Yeah.
know that when we built our house,
yeah,
she had it,
that's
and
how she did it.
Yeah.
Okay, I am,
you say, when did you say you needed to leave?
Tuesday, 2:30.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna find out if I can forward, this document to all of you that I just got from Michael DeCara, because I think I'm just looking at it. I thought you said it was like 2 pages,
Mhm.
but it's really long.
He said 22, right?
I think it was 20.
He sort of let the second two.
Misheard. And, so, and I see right away my name is spelled wrong, okay. Looks like there's a lot of information in here. Town hall decarbonization plan, so there's a town hall, let me just skip right to that. Town hall. Oh, okay, interesting. Yeah, so there's 2 pages. Okay, envelope installation improvements and HVAC electrification and controls retrofit. I don't know what that means.
You don't have to
Um,
unplug it towards
Yeah.
the breaker. Switch, oh, what a great idea. We have been using that though, very helpful to know where the breaker is,
Good.
and I remembered.
We had another item on the agenda.
Yes,
Discuss public.
yes,
presentation.
yeah, so we should do that. All right, let me find out if I can send this to all of you, and, but it looks like the town hall piece of it is just a small piece, and I don't think it's gonna be that helpful at this stage. Okay, so for the next meeting, we will already have the eligibility determination, hopefully work on this. Public presentation, I'm not sure if we're there yet.
No, and we don't want to,
Get
Um,
everybody riled up.
yeah, we're doing work and we can't just pretend it's not
Yeah.
a
Right.
process.
Well, and I think you mentioned this last time. I think it's important for people to realize that we're not gonna make the decision.
Right, we're
We're
making
gonna present
recommendations.
recommendations, and it will be up to the townspeople to decide,
Ultimately, yeah.
you know.
And in that process, I think you give pros and cons.
Yeah.
Right,
pieces.
oh,
You
yeah,
don't- You
yeah.
don't say anything.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How do you feel about my just giving a brief update to the select board about kind of where we're going in the process? Maybe at the next select board meeting?
Yeah.
Just saying our focus has been on the town hall. Most immediately, we're doing some investigation about, if anything was done with the Emmons Spear Library, but we feel like the current town hall could
Right.
absorb some of the
Right,
changes.
and it might be worth saying that our suspicion is that to make any change over there is gonna minimally require a full bathroom, and we don't know what else the code will require, but it could be significant and costly.
Yeah, if you can find out anything in
Yeah.
the next week or so from the building
Yeah.
inspector and share that, that would be great.
Yeah.
Well, and our charge is here, but we've seen how it opened up into
Yes.
this.
Right,
Yeah.
And it opened up because after our survey and we began to consider, we then got sort of more in the nitty gritty of what the MN Spear would require, which
Right.
we're still finding out
Mhm,
about. And then
mhm.
in opening that up, we were able to see from the survey some of the needs and saw they could be met in the town hall if we work on that picture. So we have to, we can work on it. They could just say, oh, it's not your charge. Oh, okay, fine.
Yeah, right. Rita, how much square feet do they currently have?
I think they have, what did I say, about 322?
And-
At 340,
And how much did we say
Oh,
this would give
330,
them?
yeah, 340,
that,
and that would be 525 at least.
And how much, what's the square footage?
Oh, even at 21 by 29, it's even more than that, I think. 21 by
And what's the
29.
square footage of Spear?
902.
609. 609 is the 21 by 29.
Okay,
And then we didn't figure out the other one, but that can come out of the CAD.
well, and we did not add
That, right,
closet,
right.
and your figure of what they have includes the closet, which
does.
is what, 48?
Yeah,
So this will be a sizable increase,
Mhm.
yeah,
because that's a bigger,
yeah.
You heard of it.
I added it to the 336 that they
Oh, okay.
currently have.
well, and if this was the wall,
Mhm.
that's 7 by 12.
Oh, we want,
That's
we
84.
want this door, right? Or you thought
No,
down
the
here?
thought
Oh, yeah,
was,
okay,
we
right,
get out,
right,
we
right.
take away
Yep, the
the
fountain,
water
okay.
source,
Yeah.
you know,
So
move the
door. Yep.
piping out of the way, put a door there,
Okay.
the refrigerator can kind of stay where it is.
Yeah.
And you move the
Yeah.
dishwasher and
Yeah.
got a nice size.
Yeah, the kitchen, right. But 7 by 12, that's 84, additional
That's-
84
yeah.
square feet,
Yeah.
right? So now you're getting close up to 700 square feet.
So we haven't doubled the evidence closet size, but
Right.
it's,
But
Well,
it's twice the size of what they have now.
right.
And it could be the booking room. They can
Right.
decide what.
Right,
Yeah,
where
yeah.
that goes, yep. Okay,
No windows in it, that's good.
Good, I feel like we're making headway.
Yeah, so at the next meeting, we are gonna approve the CPA application and
Determination of eligibility.
Well, you all have it now, so you
Yeah.
can look
Yeah.
through it, and if you think
Yeah.
I could improve my language or add something, let me know.
So we won't be able to vote on it. So we need to make sure we have, Paul and Mary Jo here. So we have 4 votes.
Mhm.
We'll recuse ourselves.
And we may end up with enough information from the building inspector to know what level of change is gonna be
Mhm.
required. And also relative to the historical nature of that building.
Mhm.
And then we're going to, have some possible plans for
Yeah.
town hall.
That'd be great.
And I think that, I understand looking at the old town hall, but I feel like we're in a long run here.
Mhm.
We can we're hopping.
Right.
places.
Right.
Slowly we can get there, but I don't
Right.
think it's gonna be.
Well, I have no problem with that, but I think it's good to kind of think of the big picture, if you will.
Yeah, oh, yeah, I didn't feel like you could look at that in isolation
Right.
without looking
Mhm.
here, because it's just become so apparent that,
Uh.
that people are, there's some people that have too much space and some people that have way too little space, and
Right.
it was been a real problem for the town for.
Yeah.
Okay, great, thank you all, great committee.
So adjourn.
Yes, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I'll move to adjourn.
Okay, do I hear a second?
Second,
All those in
Almost
favor?
Good as I.
Mosher, aye.
Barrel, aye. Great, thank you very much. Thank you, Brennan, for taking the minutes and getting them out in such a timely manner.
This was,
December fourth,
uh,
3 p.m.
as a historical thing, so this is from 1948
Huh?
for the elementary, here, this has somebody put in the